Hey everybody, this is my interview with a Satanist where you guys ask me questions and I'm going to answer them. We have question number one here. How does an unbaptism work? I have never had one done because I've never been baptized, but I have seen people do them. And as far as I can tell, it is a very symbolic, a very personal thing where they take what looks like blood and they mark an upside down cross on your forehead and they declare you unbaptized. Do you have any books you can recommend for a new Satanist coming out of the Christian religion? Absolutely. The Satanic Bible. It speaks very directly about Christianity and how everything is so hypocritical. It's an amazing read, especially the way the Satanic Bible talks about the seven deadly sins. Next question. What does the full definition of not harming little children mean? The entire definition says don't harm little children. It is that vague and that ambiguous because harming little children in any way is inappropriate and wrong. I'll briefly talk about the Satanic Temple's rule that is kind of similar to this is one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. They even give students little cards that help combat corporal punishment in schools. So like if a child goes to a school where corporal punishment is still a thing, they have these cards that say one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone, and like it's an expression of religious freedom that you know you cannot violate my body because you are violating my religion. I have never heard of someone sponsoring someone for Satanism, and I would say it's probably not a thing, simply because it's such an individualist movement. It's something that you do for yourself, usually by yourself. There are churches and you can join in groups with other people, but most Satanists are very individual. Um, so you kind of just research and learn and do all of the things mostly on your own. That's what I did. How did you get into it? I honestly don't know. I cannot recall the first time I heard about Satanism, but it intrigued me very greatly. So I immediately went and I learned everything I could. My suggestion is to get the Satanic Bible, read it, read all the information on the Church of Satan's website, on the Satanic Temple's website. There's lots of different books. There's a book called The Little Book of Satanism by La Carmina. That's a pretty good book as well. But there's all kinds of reading suggestions, and most of your information is going to come from their websites. I have never even heard of that name, so no, I've not read anything, and I'm not really sure if I have any book recommendations for contemporary. I'm going to go with no because I'm not exactly sure what you mean there. I am an atheistic Satanist. I do not believe Satan is a deity or any kind of deity exists. Satan is a mascot for me. What are your views on Satanists dating atheists or non-practicing people of faith? Friend is dating a non-practicing Jewish man, but she caught the feels after the fun and she's wondering about the future. That could be a sticky situation. My opinion is if it is not bothering them, then I see no issue, but I could definitely see why she would worry about the future, because you never know with religious people if they're going to, get a notion and dive back into it. For me personally, if my husband was a practicing Christian, we would definitely probably have some problems out of it. So yeah, sticky situation there. Rituals are really just an expression of oneself. You can read about rituals in the Satanic Bible, or you can also do your own. A lot of like pagan type rituals could definitely also fall into the category of Satanism rituals. But as an atheistic Satanist, rituals are really just for self expression, and we know that nothing magical is going to come out of it. This is 3 questions in one. Do I need to be part of an organization or can I just be a Satanist? You don't need to be part of any organization. You can just be a Satanist. You can just identify with the doctrine, with the philosophy, and be completely alone. It means nothing to be a Satanist without a group. You don't have to have a group. You're still a Satanist through and through if that's what you want to be and that's how you feel you are. There's definitely very witchy type Satanists. They tend to fall under the category of theistic Satanists, but either way, I feel like Satanism, especially when you get into the ritual stuff, is a pretty witchy situation. What kind of views do you have on pagans? I was actually pretty pagan when I met my husband. And through his deconstruction, it kind of deconstructed me from believing in other deities. So, Satanism is where I landed, but I do have a special place in my heart for pagan because I love the magic. I love the sense of control that you had of things around you. Um, and I do miss it, but I can't change how I believe. I absolutely found a lot of freedom. It's really cool to be a part of a philosophy that teaches indulgence instead of abstinence, because if you're brought up in the Bible Belt, you don't want to do all these things like cussing, like going out and drinking with your friends, because that's all bad. But indulgence within reason, it's definitely a freeing sensation. This one is funny. I don't know if I have a favorite commandment. I think all of them are kind of silly. At least three of them are like worship me. But if I had to put my finger on it, I would probably have to say, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor," because personally, I have a super duper issue with lying. I think it is gross and yucky, and I hate lying. This question is kind of like the question I answered before, but it kind of builds on it. So I am an atheistic Satanist, but my view on theistic Satanists, I wish that I could believe there is a Satan, because I personally think he's a super cool dude. Um, but again, I can't change how I believe, and I can't change the fact that I just see no evidence for a deity, and for me, that's sad. I do find it really neat to believe there is a Satan and there's other deities and magic is real, and I'm very envious of those people who still live under that umbrella. This is a really big question, and to sum it up in the best way I can, there is a lot of beef between the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple, because the Church of Satan feels like they are the only ones. They are this is the way Satanism should be, because Anton LaVey codified it like this, and they look at the Satanic Temple as not real Satanists because they're a political movement. And Anton LaVey said you shouldn't involve politics with religion, but it's kind of a philosophy. So, like, in my opinion, the Satanic Temple has built upon what the Church of Satan has done. And, there's so many different denominations of every religion. There is no reason that there can't be separate denominations of Satanism. I personally think the beef is quite silly and immature. No, I don't believe that you have to follow everything in the Satanic Bible to be a Satanist, or an organization at all. You can be a Satanist, and I believe that you can pick and choose things in the Satanic Bible that you want to follow and things you don't, because I do that. There is, like the smite him on the other cheek, like retaliation type stuff that the Satanic Bible speaks of. I don't agree with that, because I personally think it hurts someone worse if you put them in a position where they're so far beneath you that it's not worth it to retaliate. My views on transgender is that you should be allowed to be whoever you want at any level. No one should be allowed to tell you what you can and can't be, and there should be no judgment passed based on how you've chosen to live your life. Gender norms are so arbitrary. Back in Jesus's times, men wore the dresses. So, like, I think all of it is really sad that it's become part of politics. It shouldn't be political. That's people's lives, and they deserve the freedom to do as they please. I don't really consider myself any one particular type of Satanist. I kind of consider myself like an outskirtsy Satanist. I pick and choose from the Satanic Bible and the Satanic Temple, and even stuff from the Global Order of Satan. So yeah, I don't really identify with any one particular type of Satanism. And honorable mention here to Adam. He has followed me since the beginning, and he apparently thinks that I'm crazy hot. So thanks, Adam. That was really fun. If you guys have any more questions, leave them in the comments, and maybe we'll do a part two. But until next time, no more, believe less.